League of Legends is known to be one of the most toxic, addicting games ever made, and every single season it somehow seems to get worse. A game with such a bad reputation is sure to leave people with an apathetic worldview after investing so many hours, especially people who choose to play ranked somehow every single season. Honestly, my time on the game might give you a different outlook on it. I'm JQDNS or JQDins, and this is my experience with League of Legends. As so many other people unfortunately have, I started playing League back when I was in high school. I used to play this super niche anime game called Get Amped 2, which honestly deserves an entirely separate video itself. That game is amazing. So, me and my friend group on Get Amped, we'd usually play hours and hours. Then we'd finally get off, and everybody else would move to this weird game called League of Legends, which I have never heard of a single time in my life. So one day I was finally curious enough to ask what they were playing. With that single sentence, little innocent old me would end up altering the next 7 years of their anime-filled life. So, they went through the standard explanation that you've heard so many times before. League is a MOBA with 5 champions on each team, with the goal being to destroy the enemy base. Simple enough, right? How wrong I was. So, I went on to download League and make my first account. As it goes, I started with good old bot games, trying to level up until I could actually play normal games with my friends. While bot games are typically seen as tedious and boring with how many Smurf accounts most players make, to me, it was definitely the hardest game I have ever had to play. See, until this, only games I've ever played were random niche anime games I found online, and I've never even tried to be good at them. Honestly, I mostly played just for the social aspect. Due to me being such a cool, epic, Sigma, Giga Chad. Wait, what did I even write? Being a casual gamer up to this point made learning it so hard. Having to understand the items, champions, towers, whatever the heck this was supposed to be, jungle camps, minions, abilities, multiple playable maps. It was so much to take in all at once, and honestly, if I hadn't had an experienced group of friends with me, I doubt I would have ever stuck with it. They held my hand through the bot games, leveling up, and taught me everything I had to do to win against them. And for that, I'm grateful, and I look back on those days fondly. What I don't look back on fondly, however, were the ensuing normal games that we would play together. See, back then, League didn't have all the tutorials and way of easing you into actually learning the real game that they do now. Back then, it was the equivalent of throwing you into the middle of an active war zone with as much training as a Boy Scout and the build of a 14th century peasant with tuberculosis and the Black Death. So here I am, level 5 summoner me, playing with the cream of the crop, the best players that North America had to offer at the time, League of Legends experts that would rival today's LCS greats, my 3 silver friends, and a random. While yes, silver is constantly getting clowned from all angles, to me, these players were genuinely good at the game and knew what they were doing. I'd constantly be going negative, and honestly, being the reason that we lost most of the games we played. But at the same time, I always learned something from every single loss, and it was a lot of fun, even when we lost. Looking back at it now, this was probably the most fun I've ever had with the game, and gaming online in general. Everything was just so novel and new to me, and learning was actually more of a goal than winning the game more often than not. I made so many good memories back then, and even though I ended up growing apart from most of the people I played with at the time, I look back on those experiences with endearment. In my experience, this is a sentiment shared with most players I've interacted with throughout my years on League, and something I feel can be the exact thing why most seasoned players aren't enjoying the game like they used to. Fast forward a year or two, and I'm sitting comfortably at the highest experience level you could reach at the time. Level 30. It was 30. Fast forward a year or two, and I still occasionally play with my friends who introduced me to the game. And even though it was fun at times, my priorities were definitely getting better at the game myself, because I wanted to be the one carrying. So, as we anime heads do, I go on my own training arc. I watch as many YouTube videos as I could, explaining complicated topics, worked on my CSing in the practice tool, learning the ins and outs of my champion, I played Aurelia even back then, and finally started the rank grind. My first game, I'm pretty sure I ended up going like 0-11 and I had my entire team flaming me, but I was determined to reach the top, the coveted rank of silver. So I queued back up. I ran it back, lost, run it back, lost. There were a lot of losses. And eventually, I got placed in bronze for the lowest rank at the time. Personally, I didn't mind this too much, but I had quite the climb ahead of me. So I went back to the drawing board. G-Bay 99, TF Blade. Viewing my replays, I would study as much materials as I could in between games and try to implement one thing I learned. And sooner or later, I did it. I goddamn did it. Silver 4, bro, we are so back. Seeing all my hard work paying off into something I set my mind to do was one of the greatest feelings I've experienced in gaming. And ever since then, I saw gaming in a whole different light. My approach to gaming completely changed from playing for social needs or just playing to win, to playing for simply improving on something that I wanted to do and in turn myself. It taught me that even something as trivial and small as silver in League of Legends could have a profound effect on me as a person. This lesson spread throughout all facets of my life, from wanting to improve on my physique in the gym, simply for the sake of improving, to getting me into reading, fighting games, new hobbies, talking to people, drawing, motorcycling, cooking, and even starting my own YouTube channel. Now today, I stand as a proud, hard-stuck platinum player, Aurelia One Trick. Not the worst, but I've definitely hit a plateau in the game. The drive it's given me has just spread to so many other facets of my life that I don't really have as much time to play as I used to. I guess this video stands as both a thank you and advice to League players on how to approach the game. Rather than playing to win, playing to learn should be your overall goal. It makes everything a lot more enjoyable in the long run, and you end up getting a lot better than you would have if you were just focusing on wins and losses. But it's not enough to just learn concepts. Practical application is important too. So that means looking at your replays, seeing what you could improve on, and learning how to implement it. Thinking about it though, none of this advice really has any weight to it since it's coming from a platinum player, but nevertheless, it is important for both League and life. If you're not good at something, take the time to learn first, and then focus on winning.
I thought I peaked before, but I'm officially Plat 2. This is a certified gamer moment. Congrats, bro.
The Imperial Dragon does whatever he feels like doing.